Statistics don't predict games, but they're interesting all the same. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Today we're going to talk about 7 vital statistics that could play a role in deciding each of these quarterfinals. Some are areas where teams have been good throughout the tournament and they'll wish for that to continue. Other are areas where teams probably looked at it and said, this is an area, if we improve on it, could make the difference in our game. So let's start with Wales versus Argentina, and we start with the scrum. So Wales are scrumming at 86%, 24-28. Argentina 77%, 20 of 26. Wales are the best percentage-wise scrum of the teams in the quarterfinal. So, we did we looked at some scrum stats previously after 4 rounds, but after 5 rounds, Wales have actually risen to the top of those stats. So, that scrum is going to be formidable and something that Argentina may have to combat through this game. It's probably going to be a good platform for Wales. So, the line out then, both teams actually doing well here. Wales with 89%, Argentina 91%. Wales 49 of 55, Argentina 48 of 53. Argentina the best of the quarterfinal teams in the line-out. So again, they're going to want to maintain that. They're going to use that as a platform, but I expect this to be very competitive between these two teams. In terms of steals then, Wales have stolen 8 opposition lineouts, Argentina only 3. So Argentina, they've got to be careful of their own ball, and they've maybe got to, compete a little bit more on that Welsh lineout as well to stop them from maybe edging this in the game as well. Meters per carry then, Wales at 4.1, Argentina a little bit down at 3.89. Wales with 440 carries for 1,805 meters, Argentina 496 for 1,929 meters. So Argentina making more meters, but also carrying a lot more than Wales as well. Meters per kick, Wales at 32.7, Argentina just a tiny bit behind, 32.65, but Wales have kicked a lot more, 123 times to Argentina's 81. So, Wales are the team going to be kicking the ball in this game. Argentina are going to be the ones running it, and whoever can, get the better impact out of those could again be in the right areas of the pitch and potentially win the game. Tackle success then, Wales at 87%. They've missed 88 of 669 tackles. Argentina, 81%. They've missed 73 of 384 tackles. So Wales having to make way more tackles, than Argentina, but they're doing it at a better success rate. So in this game, it looks like Argentina are going to be running the ball, so Wales are definitely going to be making more tackles again, but if they can keep that success rate up, maybe that's going to be enough to get them that win. Wales are the best of the quarterfinal teams in terms of tackle success as well, so again, it's vital for them to keep that going because they're going to be making a lot against Argentina. Penalty conceded then, 46 for Wales and 40 for Argentina. Wales can have given away 3 yellow cards to Argentina's 2, and yellow card in this one could be a decider again, and both teams, it's basically the most versus the second most penalties conceded of the quarterfinal teams. So I expect there to be at least 1 yellow card in this game, probably for persistent penalties close to a team's own line. That's generally where we see them forward, other than high tackles, that is. So hopefully we don't see any high tackles in this one because, those ones can kind of skew the game a little bit. Then the last stat we're looking at is turnovers. So Wales have won 24 turnovers to Argentina's 15. And in terms of conceded, Wales conceded 15 turnovers to Argentina's 25. So Wales have conceded the least amount of turnovers of all the quarterfinal teams with that 15, and Argentina have won the least turnovers of any team in the quarterfinal with 15 again. So Argentina, that's a stat that they're definitely going to have to turn around because, as we've seen, they like to hold on to the ball, they like to run it, but if they can't get it back off Wales, that's not going to happen for them. But one good thing for them is they know Wales are going to kick the ball back to them, but you need at least some turnover ball to be able to help you in terms of, when when you're up and pressing and they're in defence, you can't just allow them to have easy outs all the time. So Argentina need to be a bigger threat at the breakdown. But as you can see, there are areas that both teams in this one could get an edge on, and it's going to make for a very interesting and I think very close game. Next, then, we will go on to the second of the quarterfinals, which is Ireland versus New Zealand. So scrum time, they're actually, very close. They're at 81% each. Ireland were a little bit higher until that game against Scotland. Scrum went off just a little bit, but not by too much in that one. Ireland 21 of 26, New Zealand 22 of 27. And almost identical in terms of their percentages, and they're both joint second in the tournament at the moment, at least of the quarterfinal teams. Lineouts then is a little bit different. We can have 82% for Ireland, 53 of 65 won. New Zealand 98%, 43 of 44. So they only lost one lineout on their own ball. New Zealand, the best lineout on their own ball in this quarterfinal by a stretch. Ireland the second worst. Ireland, that's something that got to improve. It did improve against Scotland. It was targeted by South Africa, and to a really good result for them in terms of the lineout isolated, at least not the game itself. But New Zealand could do the same because they have an excellent lineout too. So Ireland, they've got to hit their men in that lineout, or they're going to struggle against New Zealand to get in position to use that intricate play that they have with backs and forwards. Meters per carry then, Ireland at 4.56, New Zealand though with a massive 5.59, and New Zealand have the highest meters per carry of any team in the tournament and in the quarterfinals as well, obviously. Ireland have carried 515 times for 3,347 metres. New Zealand 539 times for 3,013 metres. So, both teams like to hang onto the ball. They like to, go with those carries and set up the platform, and they like to go forward. New Zealand potentially at least could get more go forward, so Ireland are going to have to stop them on that gain line as much as they can. We know Ireland as well with the defence, so they like to sometimes absorb a runner and then isolate him away from his support. So getting to that breakdown quickly is going to be vital for Ireland when New Zealand do start making those meters. Meters per kick then, Ireland 32.67 to New Zealand's 31.52. So Ireland making a good return on their kicks. They've kicked 93 times to New Zealand's 112 times. So expect New Zealand to kick a little bit more in this game than Ireland. In terms of regathered, New Zealand have regathered 19 to Ireland's 10, so definitely an edge to New Zealand if they can continue that. We've seen the likes of Barrett and Jordan, etc. Getting to those long kicks, getting up there and competing. Ireland's back three have got to be absolutely on it with those kicks in the air, because they're coming, and any spill forward, you're either giving New Zealand a good platform, or they're going to scoop that ball up and they're going to score. So, the likes of Keenan, Lowe and Hansen are going to be vital in this in terms of competing better in the air for those kicks. Tackle success then, both at 85%. Ireland have missed 73 of 477 tackles. New Zealand have missed 53 of 361. So Ireland have had to make more tackles generally in the tournament. But still, doing pretty well. And again, Ireland's scramble defence is pretty good. New Zealand, though, we know that they are killer when they get in behind you. So whoever can win that battle beyond, the tackle area could be, again, vital for this one. Penalties conceded, Ireland with 34, New Zealand with 38. So fairly tight on that one. One yellow card to Ireland in the tournament. New Zealand, one yellow and one red for them. Turnovers conceded then, 27 by Ireland, 25 by New Zealand, so a little edge to Ireland there. And New Zealand conceded 20 to Ireland's 18. So only Wales has conceded less turnovers than Ireland in this competition. They're going to need that, to keep that going as well in this one, because New Zealand are the best team in the world on turnover ball, and so Ireland need to keep those turnovers to a minimum. And when they do get a turnover, that scramble defense has to be working in overdrive. But again, you can see in this one, it's another tight one. I found it hard to call any of these quarterfinals. Looking at the stats, again, it doesn't really tell you which way or the other it's going to go. There's going to be areas where both teams are going to be on top, and it's basically up to the teams to make those areas count in terms of the overall game. So on to the next quarterfinal. It's England versus Fiji. So scrum 80% for England, 30 of 41. Fiji 68%, 25 of 37. So Fiji have the worst scrum in the quarterfinal. England is okay. It's somewhere in the middle, I'd say, on that one. But Fiji, they got to improve that. You have to have some kind of set piece platform to win a quarterfinal. You can't just play sevens and expect to win. They've got to give themselves a little bit extra as well on top of that. Into the line out then, 86% for England, 80% for Fiji. Again, Fiji the worst line out in this quarterfinal. It did improve a little bit against Portugal, but they lost that game as well, so it's going to have to improve even more in this one. England 44 of 51, Fiji 55 of 69. England, though, they're actually in the bottom three in terms of lineout as well, so the lineout may not be as skewed against Fiji as we might think, looking at their performances through the pool. Steals then pretty low for both of them, 3 for England and 5 for Fiji. So Fiji might actually be the more threatening in terms of their defensive lineout. Meters per carry then, 4.27 for England, 4.1 for Fiji. England have carried 434 times for 1,853 meters. Fiji 557 times for 2,286. So Fiji carrying way more ball than England, but England having a slightly better impact in their carries, but they're going to have to probably increase that margin a little bit in this one, at least a little bit in this one, to get parity in terms of just that go forward. Meters per kick then, England just 26.36. So England, we know they prefer box kicking and trying to get the ball back, whereas Fiji, they went for length. They've got 31.29. England have kicked 135 times to Fiji's 92. So England going to kick the ball a lot more. Fiji going to run the ball a lot more. England, though, vitally, with those box kicks and that tactic, they have regathered 29 kicks in this tournament, which is easily the most. Fiji have regathered the least with 9. So Fiji going to have to be more competitive on those box kicks and stop England from making easy meters by just kicking it up, regathering and resetting. Tackle success then, 85% for England, 70 of 459. Fiji 76%, 94 missed of 384. So Fiji with the worst tackle success in the tournament, and a lot of the stats they're down there, but they still have that that spirit and just the skills as well to compensate for some of them, but they're going to have to improve at least in some of these areas to beat England. Penalties conceded then, 33 for England, 35 for Fiji. Fiji have conceded just 2 more penalties than England. England have 1 red card. Fiji have 4 yellow cards. That is the most yellow cards of anyone in the quarterfinals. But if you look at Fiji's penalty count against all of the quarterfinals, finalists, they're somewhere in the middle. So in terms of this one, they're going to have to look to keep the penalty count even lower in this one to avoid those yellows, because it seems that whether it's that they're giving the yellow cards or the penalties away too close to their own line, and that's happening. We know they're giving some away for high hits as well, and England gave their red card away for a high hit too. But whatever it is, they have a little bit of a reputation now, and they've got to kind of subvert that, I think, in this quarterfinal, because a yellow card could really hurt them. Turnovers then, England, they've won 21. Fiji have won 32, so that is the most turnovers of any team in the quarterfinals. So Fiji are going to be attacking that English ball, turning it over, and for them at least, hopefully getting out to space as quickly as they can. Wales are the only team to have conceded less turnovers than England, though, in the tournament with 15. England have conceded 18. Fiji conceded the most with 33. A lot of those, though, are, in terms of just trying offloads and passes going to deck and stuff like that, rather than turnovers at the breakdown. So the likes of, Bodia is going to be vitally important for Fiji in terms of getting more turnovers off that England team. But Fiji, they got to protect the pill a little bit more. They can't be giving so much ball to England, because we know they need to hold on to that ball if they're going to get any success with those carries. So on to then the final quarterfinal, which is France versus South Africa. So scrum, 80% for France, 76% for South Africa. France 24-30, South Africa 22-29. South Africa, the second worst scrum in the quarterfinal. Only Fiji have been scrumming at a worse rate than them. But we know South Africa don't have a bad scrum. It's just that, when it's in something like this, just one or two scrums going against you on your own feed can massively tilt those stats. But South Africa, they will look to improve that. They definitely have some of the best front rowers in the world, but so do France as well. And, coming into a game like this against that massive French front row, you do not want your scrum to be struggling. So South Africa have to improve that. Line out then, 92% for France, 89% for South Africa, 54 of 59 for France, 51 of 57 for South Africa. So both, right up there. France second best line out in the quarterfinals. Only New Zealand better, but South Africa not too far behind. And South Africa, steals, 6 for France, 10 for South Africa is the most in the entire tournament. So, that France line out is going to have to operate really well, because we know South Africa are going to attack it, and they're expert at turning over your ball at the line out as well. So that's going to be an interesting area there, a little battle between the two teams, especially the second rows and the hookers, to see who comes out on top on that one. And with both teams, liking their set piece, like France like to kick a lot, and South Africa like to scrum and to line out. The set piece is going to be vital, I think, in this one. Meters per carry then, 4.67 for France, 5.08 for South Africa. So South Africa, kind of the next best team after New Zealand in terms of meters per carry. And they're not too far away on the number of times they carry either. 476 for France, 432 for South Africa, and France getting 2,222 meters to South Africa's 2,195. So very close on that score there. So a lot of people who think that, South Africa kicked the leather off the ball, these stats are not saying that, especially when we look at the kicks and meters per kick. 35.61 for France is massive, 24.81 for South Africa, a lot less than that. And then look at the number of times they kick. France 121 to South Africa's 81. So France kicking 1.5 times as often as South Africa. So, and then their kick return as well, their meter return on that, 4,309 for France, the most in the tournament, and 2,010 for South Africa, one of the least, at least in this quarterfinal. And in terms of kicks regathered, we have 20 for France, which is second best in the tournament, just 10 for South Africa, which is the second worst in the tournament. So kicking could play a big role in this. But if South Africa can improve their kicking accuracy, but also their ability to compete in the air, they could take that away from France as well. Tackle success then, 85% each. France missing 71 of 484. South Africa missing 76 of 498. So very close on the whole, tackles, not just percentage wise, but the numbers that they're putting up as well. Penalties conceded then, 29 for France, 34 for South Africa. France have got 1 yellow card in the tournament so far. South Africa, the only team in this quarterfinal that hasn't conceded a card. If they keep that going through this quarterfinal, again, that could give them the edge, especially if they force one for France. And, those 10-minute periods for yellow cards are where teams really have to make hay, I think, in these quarterfinals. Turnovers then, we got 28 for France, 27 for South Africa, so very close on that. Turnovers conceded, 23 for France, 24 for South Africa, so again, an area where it's very close. And, that's what this game is going to be, or at least what I feel is going to be. It's going to be a very close battle, and it's maybe going to come down to that last kind of quarter, who can have the impact off the bench. We know that the French have a fantastic squad. We know South Africa have their bomb squad. So expecting real fireworks in, the last kind of 20 to 15 minutes of this one that could decide who goes on to the semi-final.